Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on a Saturday. Apologies I didn't get to do a video yesterday, had quite a bit going on, had to pop into London as well, speak to a couple of people, and was unable to do one, so I thought I'd jump on here this morning and talk about what I missed yesterday, what I wasn't able to discuss on a video yesterday. And that was a big news that Edu has become Arsenal's first ever sporting director. What's the difference? I hear lots of you cry because let's face it, we've all kind of it's felt like he's been doing that role since he arrived at the club in 2019, but he hasn't. He's obviously been the technical director. This is a promotion to becoming a sporting director. The club obviously announced it yesterday. Brief little sort of statement on the club website, but I thought I'd pop on here, talk a little bit more extensively about exactly what that means, why the decision's been taken, why now, that sort of thing. And by all means, anything I talk about in this video that you want to ask questions of or anything like that, please do let me know in the comments below. I always try and go through them as best as I can. Okay, so Edu obviously has been appointed sporting director. Before I get into it, here's what people had to say. Vinay Venkatesham, obviously chief executive at Arsenal, said, "We are delighted that Edu is recommitting his future to the club that he so clearly loves after making such a positive and critical contribution to our progress in the time with us so far. Edu's promotion formalises his already growing influence over our academy operations. We look forward to Per and Edu working together to strengthen the integration between our men's first team and the academy yet further." Edu, couple of lines of quotes from him that are on the website, said, "I'm delighted to have this new role, which I see as an evolution and consolidation of the way we've been working. We are making good progress in all our areas of men's, women's and academy, and we're excited about what can be achieved. I look forward to building on the hard work of so many people and helping all of us grow together and enjoy more success. And I'm thankful for the trust the club has put in me. We move forward together." Okay, so that's the club side of things out the way. Let's talk about a little bit more what this means. Now, Edu's been here since 2019, came in as technical director, and has been working in that role until now. The move to sporting director, as those sort of quotes suggest, it doesn't really change his role too much in terms of what he's been doing in and around the first team, his working relationship with Mikel Arteta, the women's team, that sort of thing. What this does, it means he can oversee a lot more closely than he has been the academy, which is pretty much for the last few years. Per's been running it as the academy manager, has been running it very, very well, and Edu and Per have been always in contact, that sort of thing, but it's kind of been mainly Per doing things. This new role, this promotion, means that Edu also takes that under his wing, so he oversees all of it now. He's basically the Lord Commander of Arsenal. So what does that mean for Mertesacker? I hear you ask. It doesn't mean anything, really. As I said, Mertesacker and Edu have a very good working relationship. This isn't a case of Mertesacker being eased out in any way. His role is going to stay exactly the same. He's going to stay on the executive panel, the executive board kind of at Arsenal. That's not the makeup of the board with the likes of Kroenkes, but the executive team, which involves the likes of Richard Garlick, the director of football operations, Edu, Per's academy manager, people like that, Vinay obviously as CEO, and then some other sort of roles like Mark Ganella, who's the head of communication strategy, that sort of thing. They make up the executive team, and Per Mertesacker is staying on that. His role's staying the same as the academy manager. It's just that now him and Per are going to be working a lot more closely to try and develop and continue to improve that pathway, which is so important, from academy to first team setup, from Hale End to London Colney. And Arsenal have been very successful with that in recent past, and they are hoping now this kind of Edu taking more of a hands-on role with the academy is going to just only help with that, and him and Per can form a really good working team. Like I said, for any of you thinking this is the end of Per Mertesacker at Arsenal, as far as I'm aware from people that I've spoken to about this, it is absolutely not the case, and it is just the fact that him and Edu are going to be working more closely together. But other than that, nothing's changing when it comes to Per Mertesacker. So why now? Well, look, I don't think the timing of this is a coincidence by any means. It's the fact that everyone knows that there's been a lot of speculation about Edu in the last month or so. Suddenly his name's been out there, been other clubs being interested in potentially taking him. So the timing of this announcement, everything about it, it's there for a reason. It's the fact that it is a way of it's a way of confirming Arsenal's commitment towards Edu, and also the other way as well. It's that Edu confirming his commitment towards Arsenal. He's not on a contract like a player could be. He's not like on a 4-year deal, a 5-year deal. He's a permanent member of staff, so he's not on that sort of contract that you would get as a player. So if the club's sniffing around a certain player, as happens all the time, clubs look to reward that player and to keep him at the club by giving him a new contract. That's not the case when it comes to Edu, because of the way he works, because he's a permanent member of staff. So this promotion is basically the same as him being given a new contract as a player. It's Arsenal showing him, look, we absolutely admire the work that you've done and we want you to stay and we want you to be a big part of taking this club forward and continuing the project that you started 4 years ago when you arrived, or 3 years ago when you arrived. That's what this is about. And for Edu's point of view, again, it's a bit of a message to all the clubs who have been sniffing around him recently of, thanks for your interest, but I'm staying at Arsenal. I've still got a lot of work to do here and I'm taking on even more responsibility. So that's why now. For Arteta, he's going to be absolutely delighted with it, no doubt. I mean, he's spoken recently in the last month while this speculation has been going on about Edu, about how much he wants him to stay, how closely the pair work together, and how, I think he said last month, or last time he was asked about it in one of the press conferences, he talked about exactly why it would be important for Eddie to stay and how much he wants him to stay. So he'll be delighted with this. A pair of those two get on very, very well. And this whole plan, the project, the process, whatever you want to call it, it's been drawn up by those two. And it's far from complete. Edu's recently spoken about a 5-year plan that he's got at Arsenal. We're nowhere near the end of that yet. So, and Arteta is very much in on that as well. So he'll be delighted. Arsenal are delighted. Edu will be delighted. And personally, for me, my opinion on it, I think it's an excellent move. You can't really fault Edu for the work that's done. You just got to look at results on the pitch, and it's great. Yes, mistakes have been made. That's going to happen. Yes, we can all question the money that he's received for some players, the lack of money he seems to receive for some players. That is something that hangs over him, that he's going to have to sort out over the next couple of years, because Arsenal need to start making money from selling players. It's something they've been dreadful at. Edu hasn't improved it, and he needs to improve it over the next couple of years. But when you look at the strategy, you look at some of the decisions that have been made, some of the signings that have been made, you look at the progress on the pitch, it's difficult to really hammer Edu or criticise Edu. I think you've got to pay credit to him for the work that he's done. A big part of this project is down to Edu and the plan that he put in place when he hired Mikel Arteta, or when he sort of pushed for the club to hire Mikel Arteta in 2019. He deserves a lot of credit for it. So I think it's a good thing. Arsenal at the moment is all about stability, and again, that's a lot of the timing of this announcement and the move is just keeping that stability going. It's been such upheaval at Arsenal for so long. Finally, it's all settled down, and there's a clear plan. Everything's beginning to run smoothly. It's just stable for the first time in a long time. And a part of this announcement being made and Edu taking this new promotion is protecting that stability. And for me, again, my opinion on it, I think that stability is absolutely key. The last thing you want is something seismic to come in and rock the foundations of what's being built at Arsenal right now. And Edu suddenly up in sticks and moving elsewhere would have done exactly that. So that's the last thing Arsenal needs. So in my view, it's good news, and I don't think I'd be very surprised if many people disagree with that. But let me know, as always, in your comments below what your thoughts on Edu being promoted to sporting director. Good move or not? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so we're now just one day away from the World Cup starting. Of course, that opening game tomorrow night over in Qatar, England getting underway on Monday. Bukayo Saka, Aaron Ramsdale and Ben White part of the England squad. Of course, Gabriel Martinelli part of the Brazilian squad alongside Gabriel Jesus. And Gabriel Martinelli has been given some very interesting insight, I think, into his career so far, his story so far. If you haven't seen it, I retweeted it yesterday. The piece he's done with the Players Tribune, there's a video, there's a big written piece as well. If you haven't seen it yet, go and read it. It's a really good piece with Gavi talking about his journey so far from Brazil to Arsenal, the rejections he had along the way, his trials with Manchester United, his little stay with Barcelona, his eventual move to Arsenal. It's really interesting. He gives lots of good insight into that and the World Cup and the dream of playing in the World Cup. It's a really good piece, so please do head over. Like I said, I retweeted it. You can find it on Twitter, if Twitter's still up at that point, if Elon hasn't sort of drove it into the ground by then. Hopefully it's not, and you can still find it, so go and have a look. But I mean, some of the comments he talked about Arsenal, I really like this mindset from Gabby, and he said we will continue to go for the win of each game because that is what this club should do. Arsenal is not only about getting a point, Arsenal is not about finishing fourth, Arsenal is about titles, the league, the Champions League. That's what the fans deserve. Really good insight into Martinelli, and I love that mindset that he's got. And that's not just talk from someone who's interviewed Martinelli, who's been with him London Colney and at the stadium after games and listened to him speak. That is his mindset. He does it. The way he talks is the way he plays on the field. He absolutely wants to achieve success at Arsenal. His contract is clearly something that needs to be resolved sooner rather than later. Hopefully Edu, one of his first jobs as sporting director, is getting that done. But I really like listening to that Martinelli. It's one of the most interesting things I've sort of watched for a while, the interview that he does. And he's very softly spoken, Martinelli. He said it in the video himself. He talks about how shy he was when he arrived at Arsenal. There's a really good story there involving Aubameyang, and unlike Martinelli's first day when Aubameyang came into the canteen and sat next to him, and Gabby was talking about how nervous he was about everything, and he almost wanted to sort of get out of there before having to speak to anyone. But then Aubameyang, the biggest star at that time, came, sat down next to him, spoke in Spanish, and Gabby talks about how he'll never forget that and how Aubameyang made him feel. It was a really nice little piece. So get over and have a watch of that video. It is well worth it. Like I said, you can find it on my Twitter timeline. I retweeted it yesterday. Okay, so that's about it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, please do enjoy your weekend. Head over to my Twitter for any Arsenal breaking news that happens over the next couple of days. If nothing does happen, and it is quite quiet at the moment because all the players are on holiday, they're all back next week before heading off to Dubai. Then just sit back, enjoy the start of the World Cup, and I'll speak to you very, very soon. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching.